the session, Steve. Thank you.
Oh, yes. All right.
Did you get them?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Gene Dowdy. I'm the Orchestra Director out at UTSA. But what we're really here about is to celebrate the arrival of Mr. Itzhak Perlman to San Antonio and to Antonio Strad Violin Shop. And so once again, welcome, Mr. Perlman. Thanks for being here. I could introduce this Q&A session by just recounting the incredible career of Mr. Perlman, but that would use up the entire time, and then we would have no time.
It would bore me.
So we don't want to bore the guest, and so I will ask you to obviously read the bio in the program, but I do want to say how honored we are to have him in town, and how grateful we are to Antonio Strad Violin, Julian and Mary and Renee and Tim and just their entire staff inviting us into this beautiful space. So thanks so much, Antonio Strad. So what we'll do is just enjoy the time that we have, and I'll take questions from students, teachers, parents, pretty much in any direction that Mr. Perlman would like to go.
And you'll translate.
And I'll translate into whatever is necessary, maybe into youth or into youthies or something like that. But I guess the first thing that maybe we could open up in the direction of is I think there's a lot of teachers here today and students, and the subject of training always comes up. And you were born in Israel, and you were trained there, and then you came to New York, and you had training with the great Ivan Galamian at the Juilliard School, and to try to maybe transition down to maybe the age that these young people are at, what would be some things you would recount from your training that were most formative, most important?
First of all, how many fiddle players? Fiddle players, all raise your hands. Violin, viola players? Good. Cellists, any cellists? 1, 2, 3. Bass players? Nobody. Okay, so we can talk about bass players. No, well, I don't know. I had basically 3 teachers as I was growing up. My first violin teacher was a lady with a Russian background. She was from Russia, obviously, and I studied with her for the first 8 years, from the age of 5 to 15. That's 8. Yeah. And afterwards, I came to New York when I was 13, and I studied to study with Galamian. But at that time, he had somebody who was assistant who turned out to be one of the great teachers, Dorothy DeLay. And so I studied with both Dorothy DeLay and Ivan Galamian when I was in the States. So the question was exactly what?
With this age group of students particularly, teenagers, would you recount some of those formative, maybe that you would look back on as being most important among those teachers, maybe a pedagogy or a song or anything?
Well, it's very interesting because at the time when you start with somebody, I don't think you kind of know or appreciate how good they are. After you grow up, you say, oh, that teacher was really something for me. It's very rare that you actually have somebody who says, oh, I love this teacher very much. I suppose it can happen, but I did not, for example, when I studied with Galamian, he was very close in style to my first teacher. And the style was, do what I tell you, and you'll play the violin. Just do what I tell you. Don't ask any questions. I have a system, that's it. Now, Dorothy DeLay was different. She would say, after I would play, she would say, sugar plum. She was from Kansas. We called it sugar plum. She would call everybody sugar plum. So I was not, just don't think that it was everybody was sugar plum. So she said, sugar plum, what is your concept of G sharp? What she meant to say was, your G sharp is out of tune. But she didn't say that. She said, what's your concept? So I said, Mr. Lay, I said, what is this with a concept? Just tell me, it's out of tune, I'll fix it. She says, no, there are several ways. When you listen to Heifetz play, his intonation is a little bit on the sharp side. When you listen to Milstein play, he loves his intonation to be slightly on the flat side. What is your concept of that? So, in other words, what she did is she made me think of what was going on and involved me in the process. I didn't like that at all. So, now I teach just like she did. So I teach whatever I didn't like, that's the way I teach. I like to involve students in the process. so that you don't, so everything that you do as a student, if you think about it yourself, then it's your own. You can take credit for it. You know, it's not like, you know, I don't like to show much when I play. I don't like to show the students how it should go. I'd like them to come to the conclusion how it should go. And they should, because otherwise, you know, if I show them, you know, everybody has wonderful ears, you know, they'll just imitate. But it's not their own. So, I mean, that's my, you know, every now and then, if I really need to do something that I can't really quite verbalize, then I would show. But I would show very little, you know, like 20 seconds, 10 seconds, you know. I'm not going to start playing and getting involved. I know people that sometimes they form bonds with their teachers, mainly because they love the way they play and so on. But for me, teaching should be something that comes from support as well as involving the student in the process. So that's what I teach. So I teach like the person that I hated, whose teaching I hated. Not I didn't hate her, I hated her teaching. And now that's the way I teach.
So how about some questions on that subject?
I give you yes.
Do you still teach? Do you give master classes once in a while?
I don't give master classes a lot, almost nothing, but I teach all the time. Oh yes, I teach. I teach one-on-one. So I teach, basically I teach at the Juilliard School. I have about 16 students, which for me is a lot because I have to play a concert and to teach. And then I teach at the Perlman Music Program, which is a summer program that my wife started 17 years ago. And that's, again, and everybody in that program, as well as Juilliard, sees me one-on-one. I don't do any, you know, we have studio classes where people play for each other and stuff like that, but that happens, you know, maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks. But the main teaching that I do is one-on-one.
Tell us more about the...
I'm sorry, if we have a student that would be interested, how could he...
Be interested in the program, in the summer program?
In getting in the
Or getting, well, there are several ways of doing it. First of all, if they're interested in studying with me at Juilliard, they have to apply to Juilliard, right? That's one thing. The other thing is that my class is full because I don't like to add people to the class, because if I do, it does nobody any good, because if I can't teach it because I have so many people, then it's no good. So I try to keep the class 15, 16. I really try. I'm trying to reduce them to like maybe 14. Would be, my life would be easier, and everybody would get more of me. As far as the summer program is concerned, go on the web, look at perlmanmusicprogram.org, and you know what it is. And basically what it is you send DVDs, and which we look, and again, there are very, very few spots because the kids can stay until they're 18. So we can't kick them until they're 18. Once they're 18, then they have to leave. So then that's how we have openings. So that's it.
I was just going to ask you to follow up on what happens in your summer program. Is it private lessons, coaching, chamber music?
Well, my summer program was really great. It's what you have to be there, but it's I'll try and describe the day. Your day is 4 hours of practicing in the morning, 4 50-minute hours, 50-minute, 10 minutes rest, 50 minutes, and so on. Then in the afternoon you've got chamber music rehearsals. Then everybody has to sing in chorus. Everybody sings in chorus. All the kids. You know, we have a wonderful chorus master. And at night there's orchestra that I conduct. And during the day there are lessons on viola and cello and violin, which I teach as well, one-on-one. And I have a couple of other violin teachers that are also teaching while I'm teaching. So it's a if you go there, it's a serious, you don't go there to just see, that'll be great to have fun. You go there because you're serious. You're serious, you go there. And as I said, the way to do it is to just go on the website and then just to see. But people like it. And so that's basically it. You know, I find that the thing there that is different than another kind of summer program is because it takes place during the year as well. We have a winter residency in Sarasota, Florida. So we have the same program as we have in the summer, except it's 2.5 weeks. Sometimes we take the kids, we've taken the kids to China, taken them to Israel. We have concerts during the year. We call them works in progress.